The silence inside Chamber Orin, the Galactic Council's grand deliberation hall, carved from the living crystal of asteroid Theron 9, was not the silence of peace. It was the silence of 300 alien species holding their breath at the same moment, staring at a single human being who stood alone at the center podium. Admiral Ethan Cross did not fidget. He did not look up at the towering tiers of council delegates with anything resembling awe, though the chamber could have swallowed a dozen of Earth's tallest cathedrals. He was 61 years old, weathered by 3 decades of service, his uniform bearing no decorative medals, only a small patch of the Earth's flag above his left breast pocket. His jaw was set. His hands were clasped behind his back. His gray eyes swept the room once, as though cataloging it, before settling on the curved dais where High Counselor Kale Veyron sat at the center of the 9-member ruling panel. Veyron was of the Theron species, tall, blue-skinned, with 4 luminescent eyes arranged symmetrically across a broad, flat face. He had led the Galactic Council for 30 cycles. He had presided over the absorption of 19 civilizations into the Council's framework. He had never once, in those 30 cycles, felt uncertain. Until today. Admiral Cross. Veyron's translated voice rang through the chamber's acoustic field, measured and deliberate. You have been summoned to address the Council's proposed integration mandate, the formal transition of the human Terran Republic into a protected vassal state under galactic law. This arrangement would provide humanity with defense guarantees, resource access, and trade privileges in exchange for relinquishment of independent military command. The vote concludes in 6 of your planetary hours. We expected a diplomatic representative. Instead, we receive a military officer. A murmur moved through the tiers like wind across a still lake. Cross nodded once. Slowly. You expected a diplomat, he said. His voice was even, unhurried, carrying the particular calm of a man who had already made up his mind long before walking into the room. I am not a diplomat. I was sent because the Terran Republic wanted you to understand that what I am about to say is not a political position. It is a military statement. And it is final. Veyron leaned forward, for eyes narrowing. Admiral. The integration mandate is a generous offer. Your civilization is young, barely 4 centuries into interstellar travel. Your population numbers less than 14 billion across 6 colonized worlds. The collective we represent spans 47 star systems and 800 billion sentient beings. You are, with all due respect, a minor power. The mandate protects you. The mandate erases us. Cross said. No heat in it. Just fact. Relinquishing independent military command means we cannot defend ourselves without Council approval. It means our resource extraction is subject to Council quotas. It means our expansion is capped at your discretion. With respect, High Counselor, that is not protection. That is a cage with better lighting. A delegate from the Vreth hegemony, insectoid, 6-limbed, clicked its mandibles in agitation. 3 others began speaking at once before the chamber's translation matrix suppressed the crosstalk. Veyron raised one long hand for silence. And if the Council proceeds with the vote regardless of humanity's preference? Admiral Cross reached into the breast pocket of his uniform and removed a single data chip, matte black, the size of a fingernail. He set it on the podium's surface. The chamber's holographic interface read it automatically. Above the chamber floor, in light visible to every species present, a single line of text materialized in galactic standard. Terran Republic, Declaration of Total War, effective immediately upon Council vote passage. The silence this time was different. It was the silence of 300 species understanding simultaneously that the small creature at the podium was not bluffing. We will not submit. Cross said. If the Council passes the integration mandate, the Terran Republic formally declares a state of total war against any force that attempts to enforce it. We will not fire first. But the moment one Council ship enters Terran space under enforcement orders, we will respond with the full weight of everything we have ever built. Veron's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a Theran expression of disbelief. Admiral Cross. You have 14 billion people. 6 worlds. We have 800 billion, across 47 systems, with a combined fleet strength your own analysts have modeled as 412 times our current tonnage. Cross said, finishing the sentence. He had clearly read the same file. We know the numbers, High Counselor. We've run the simulations. By purely conventional models, we lose. Badly. In most projections, we lose within 18 months. He paused, and something moved behind his gray eyes, not fear, not bravado, but something older and quieter. The expression of a man who had sat alone with a terrible truth for a long time and had finally made peace with it. But I want you to consider something. You have spent those same months modeling a conventional war. We have spent them not modeling one. A Vreth delegate clicked again, louder this time. What does that mean? It means, Cross said, that we did not prepare to win in 18 months. We prepared to still be fighting in 18 years. We hardened our civilian infrastructure to survive orbital bombardment. We dispersed our shipyards across asteroid belts and gas giant moons. We buried our command networks so deep in quantum encryption that you would need a century to crack them. We trained every able-bodied citizen in asymmetric defense doctrine. We engineered our colonies to be self-sufficient for decades without resupply. He let that land. You can break us in a stand-up fight, High Counselor. But you cannot end us. And an 800 billion being civilization bleeding itself dry for 18 years against 14 billion people who have decided they would rather die free. He paused. Ask yourself what that costs you. Not in ships. In the 30 other minor civilizations watching this chamber right now, waiting to see what the Council does to the species that said no. The quiet that followed was the longest in Chamber Orin's 3-century history. Veron sat motionless for a full minute. His luminescent eyes had dimmed slightly, another Theran tell, one Cross had studied in the briefing documents on the transit from Earth. It meant the High Counselor was calculating. Finally, Veron spoke. You understand that declaring total war against the Galactic Council is not a thing that can be undeclared. Even if the vote fails tonight, this declaration will change humanity's relationship with every member species. There will be consequences. Trade friction. Diplomatic cooling. We know. Cross said. We decided we could live with friction. We could not live with the alternative. Veron studied him for a long moment across the chamber floor. You came here alone. One human. No diplomatic corps, no legal delegation, no aides. I came alone. Cross confirmed. Because the Republic wanted you to understand that this isn't a negotiating position. There is no counteroffer we're waiting for. We are telling you, clearly, what happens if the vote passes. What you do with that information is your business. Veron leaned back slowly. When he spoke again, his voice had changed in a way the chamber's translation matrix couldn't quite capture, something underneath the words that was not quite respect, but was the precursor to it. The Council will require time to deliberate. Take all the time you need. Cross said. He picked up the data chip from the podium, pocketed it again, and turned to walk back toward the chamber's entrance. His footsteps were unhurried, the same measured pace he had walked in with. 300 alien species watched him go. 6 hours later, the integration mandate failed its vote by a margin of 211 to 89. No official reason was recorded in the council minutes. But every delegate who had been in Chamber Orin that day understood what had actually happened. Humanity had looked at an empire of 800 billion, done the math, and decided the math didn't matter. And the empire had believed them.